Hi, I'm Olivia Evans. I'm 28, and after years of clawing my way up, I've finally made it as a marketing executive. Sounds great, right? Well, it is except for one thing, my family. Or more specifically, my dad, Richard Evans. He's a big shot businessman who spent my entire life making me feel like I'll never measure up. Growing up, everything was about Mark, my cousin. You'd think he was the second coming of Christ, the way my dad talks about him. I swear, if my dad could have traded me for him, he wouldn't have hesitated. Once, when I was 10, I won first place at a school science fair. I couldn't wait to show my dad, so I ran into his office, clutching my trophy. And what did he say? "That's nice, sweetie. But did you hear Mark made varsity as a freshman? Seriously?" It was always like that. Mark was the golden child, and I was just there. The only person who ever truly understood me was my mom. She was my rock, always ready with a hug or words of encouragement. But when she passed away when I was 18, my world shattered. Dad buried himself in work, leaving me to grieve alone. And now here I am, packing for the annual family reunion at my dad's fancy estate. I'm dreading it. My phone buzzes. It's Aunt Susan, Dad's sister. "Hey, sweetie. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. You're coming, right?" I sigh and type back, "Wouldn't miss it," before tossing my phone onto the bed. Why do I put myself through this every year? I mutter, stuffing clothes into my suitcase. The next day, I pull up to my dad's mansion, my stomach in knots. Uncle Tom's car is already in the driveway. Great, looks like the golden boy is already here. I plaster on my best fake smile as I ring the doorbell. Aunt Susan opens it, beaming. "Olivia, look at you, more beautiful every time I see you." I force a laugh. "Thanks, Aunt Susan, you look great too." She ushers me inside, chattering about how everyone's out back. Your father's firing up the grill. Oh, and Mark brought his new girlfriend. She's just lovely. Of course he did. I bet Dad's already planning their wedding. I take a deep breath and step onto the patio, forcing another smile. My dad's at the grill, and there's Mark, looking smug as ever. Well, well, Dad slurs. Look who finally decided to grace us with her presence. Traffic was awful, I lie, trying to keep things civil. How's everyone doing? Mark jumps in, practically glowing. Oh, we're great. I was just telling Uncle Rick about my new business venture. It's going to be huge. I nod, barely listening as he drones on about his latest get-rich-quick scheme, while everyone hangs on his every word. Aunt Susan appears at my side, handing me a glass of wine. "You look like you could use this," she says. "Thanks," I mutter, taking a big sip. The evening drags on, and we all sit around the large table on the patio. Everyone's laughing at my dad's increasingly inappropriate jokes, but I feel the tension simmering under my skin. Suddenly, Dad stands up, swaying slightly. "I'd like to make a toast," he announces, his voice booming, "to my nephew Mark, the son I never had." A cheer erupts from the table, but I can feel my face burning with embarrassment and anger. "Mark, my boy," Dad continues, "you've made me proud. This new business venture is exactly what this family needs. Unlike some people." His eyes flick to me for just a second before he looks away. I grip my wine glass so tightly my knuckles turn white. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. You know, my father slurred, swaying slightly. "I always thought having kids would be great, but sometimes mistakes happen." The table went silent. Every pair of eyes turned toward me. "Dad," I whispered, barely able to get the words out. "What are you saying?" He laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that cut through the quiet. "Oh, come on, Olivia. You know you were never part of the plan. Your mother insisted on keeping you, but me? I knew you'd never live up to the Evans name." The silence was suffocating. I stood so abruptly that my chair toppled over, the noise echoing through the stillness. "Excuse me," I choked out, rushing inside, barely able to hold back the tears. I found myself in my father's study, tears streaming down my face. How could he say something like that, especially in front of everyone? The door creaked open behind me. I didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "What do you want?" I spat. "To explain," my father said, his voice strangely calm. I turned to face him, fury and pain warring inside me. "Explain what?" "That I'm not good enough for this family." He sighed, settling into his leather chair as if we were having a casual conversation. "It's not just about that. I've decided to make some changes to my will. Mark has shown real promise, and You're giving him my inheritance? I cut him off, my voice full of disbelief. He didn't flinch. The majority of it, yes. It's what's best for the family business. I stared at him, incredulous. So that's it. You're just writing me off completely. Olivia, don't be dramatic, he said, waving a hand. You'll still get something. Just not as much as we originally discussed. I shook with anger, tears blurring my vision. You know what? Keep it. Keep all of it. I don't want anything from you. Don't be hasty. No, I interrupted, my voice trembling with rage. I'm done. Done with you, with this family, with everything. You want Mark as your heir? Fine. But don't expect to ever hear from me again. I stormed out, ignoring the concerned glances from relatives as I grabbed my purse and keys. As I reached my car, I heard Aunt Susan calling after me. Olivia, wait, where are you going? I turned to face her, my voice cold and cutting. Ask your brother. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to tell you all about his mistake. Without another word, I got in my car and drove away, tears spilling down my cheeks as the estate disappeared in my rearview mirror. As I sped away, I made a silent vow. This would be the last time Richard Evans, or any of them, would hurt me. I was cutting ties with my toxic family for good. Later, I stumbled into my apartment, emotionally drained. My phone buzzed on the counter. It was Zoe, my best friend. Girl, where are you? I thought we were grabbing drinks tonight. Zoe, you won't believe the night I've had. I said, my voice breaking as I fought back the tears. I'm coming over. Don't move. 30 minutes later, Zoe was at my door with a bottle of wine and a sympathetic ear. I told her everything, Dad's drunken speech, the mistake comment, the bombshell about the inheritance. That rat bastard, Zoe hissed, pouring more wine. Liv, you can't let him get away with this. What am I supposed to do? It's his money. Zoe's eyes lit up. What if there's more to the story? Your mom always seemed like she was protecting you from something. I frowned. What do you mean? Remember how weird she'd get whenever your dad's business came up? Maybe there's dirt you don't know about. The idea took root. Mom's old letters were still in the attic. Maybe they held answers. The next morning, nursing a wine hangover, I climbed into the attic. Dust-covered boxes were scattered everywhere. After an hour of searching, I found a small locked box labeled Elizabeth's personal. Inside were dozens of letters, one standing out from the rest. My dearest Olivia, if you're reading this, I'm gone. There's so much I wanted to tell you about your father, about our family, things I was too afraid to say. Know that I've left something for you, something your father doesn't know about. It's not much, but it's yours. Look for the key where the sun always shines. All my love, Mom. My hands shook as I read the letter. What did she mean? What was Dad hiding? I needed help. That's how I found myself in a dingy office, face to face with Jake, a private investigator. He had a 5 o'clock shadow and eyes that had seen too much. So, he said, leaning back in his creaky chair, you want me to dig up dirt on your old man. I needed to know the truth, about my father, the business, everything. Jake nodded slowly. All right, Miss Evans. But I warn you, sometimes the truth ain't pretty. A week later, Jake called. You better come down here. You're going to want to see this for yourself. I rushed to his office, my heart pounding. Jake had files spread across his desk. Your daddy's been a busy boy, he said, pointing to the papers. Offshore accounts, shell companies, the works. And get this, your cousin Mark, he's in it up to his eyeballs too. I flipped through the documents, my stomach turning. Fraud, embezzlement, insider trading, it was all there, laid out in black and white. There's more, Jake continued. Your mom, she knew. That's why she set up a separate account for you. It's not much compared to your dad's fortune, but it's clean. And it's all yours. I sat there stunned. Mom had known all along. She tried to protect me the only way she could. What do I do now? I asked, feeling completely overwhelmed. Jake leaned forward, his gaze steady. That's up to you, Miss Evans. But if I were you, I'd make him pay. As I left Jake's office, my mind was spinning. I had the truth now, but what was I going to do with it? One thing was certain, this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Dad and Mark thought they could push me aside. They had no idea what was coming. And now, here I am, standing outside my father's office. My heart is pounding like a jackhammer, and the USB drive in my hand feels impossibly heavy. It's showtime. I stride in, channeling all the confidence I've faked over the years. Dad and Mark look up, their surprise quickly shifting to annoyance. What's the meaning of this, Olivia? Dad barks. I smirk. Oh, just thought I'd drop by for a little family meeting. You know, to discuss offshore accounts, fraud, the usual Evans family business. Their faces, priceless. I wish I had a camera. You can't prove anything, Mark sputters, his confidence shaken. Actually, cousin dearest, I can. And I will, unless you're willing to make a deal. Long story short, I walked out of there with my rightful share of the company and a very legally binding agreement. Turns out, I'm pretty good at hostile takeovers. So what's next for Olivia Evans? Who knows? But one thing's for sure. I'm done living in anyone's shadow. This is my story now, and I'm just getting started. The story of Olivia Evans has come to an end. Now we want to hear from you. What would you do if you discovered your family's darkest secrets? Would you expose them, even if it meant destroying your family's reputation? Or would you stay quiet to protect the people you love? How far would you go for justice? Is revenge ever truly worth it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done in Olivia's shoes? Do you think she made the right choice? Have you ever had to cut ties with toxic family members? How did it impact your life? Where do you draw the line between family loyalty and personal integrity?